Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Anup Kokne and here we discuss about the Indian stock market indices on how they have played today and what could we expect them to do tomorrow, right? So with this, let's get started. I'll start with FinNifty and then we will move on to Nifty and Bank Nifty. FinNifty will not do a thorough analysis. We'll just look at how it played today for the reason being that we just closed the monthly expiry today and then for next couple of days there may be the positions built up on the OI chart for FinNifty and we may necessarily not have too much of information to trade fin nifty till the position starts building up on the OI chart and also see some price action uh, to be started for the new contracts for the month of June, right? So Fin Nifty pretty much opened at the as is levels. It started moving upwards in the morning, then for the whole day almost it's consolidated till the European session, and then I'm not very sure about sentiments. What made it move ahead, for 100 points once we got post 2 p.m. But that's when the consolidation range was broken, and there could be there was a breakout that was seen, and it went and tested the previous day high. Right, so I was doing pretty well. So I played a data neutral strategy today on FinNifty, and I was doing decently well and making close to 1% on my capital. But the last 45 minutes is where, my call started bleeding. And then with that, I lost a significant gains that I made in terms of profit. And I closed somewhere at, I was holding the positions till the end of the market, and I closed with probably 0.6% gains on FinNifty today, which is decent enough. But looking at the way the markets are behaving with an volatility index with just 12.1, and the movements that the candlesticks are making on the price action chart is way too different, right? So I mean, I'm not very sure if this is something that I can expect with an volatility of 12, and the premiums are like very, very cheap, right? So there is a lot of risk as an option seller that we are carrying these days. But if that's your style of working and the method that we adopt, there is nothing much that we can do, right? So we can only keep doing in the risk management and start bringing in the new ways of doing in this risk management. Otherwise, I think the gains are getting limited with this low volatility and the abrupt movement that's happening in the markets, right? With this, we'll move on to Nifty because Nifty and Bank Nifty would be the one of them which I'll be trading in tomorrow, and I'll give my point of view on them. So Nifty also pretty much started with a positive momentum and then it was consolidating almost for the whole day, right? So there was not much of a momentum, net momentum that happened today in Nifty as well. We will look on, the daily time frame and try to understand what's the daily trend and what can we expect at Nifty, right? So Nifty is at a very good levels of 18,650. We have been seeing a lot of back and forth happening at this level, being a strong resistance for quite some time now. The next level of resistance is definitely at 18,900. Now, tomorrow's opening would be an important point of location because if it opens above this with a gap up, then we can start seeing in another 100, points going towards 18,800. Or if it opens at the as is level, again, like what we got to see today, probably it would be consolidating in a range of 100 points between 18,700 and 18,550, right? So maybe 100, 150 points that we could get to see. The gap is still open, so I'm not very sure if this gap would get filled up. I was expecting this to be at least tested today. But the way I looked at it is, I mean, the previous day low was tested, but again, it didn't get further, and we saw some buying coming in from the previous day low. So definitely, bulls are active at this levels of 18,600 and 18,550. So hitting 18,500 may be a little difficult, is what it looks like at this point of time. But you never know, how things can fare in the market, and tomorrow if there are any negative sentiments for whatever reasons, you can see this 18,500 being tested, right? So let's do a quick intraday time frame check and see how it's playing through. So if you look at this hourly chart, the support from yesterday has been holding good at 18,584. So it didn't allow to get below that, but at the same time, the high of 18,650 was also getting tested multiple times on an hourly chart. Let's look at 15-minute chart, which gives a better view. So there was an attempt to break this 18,650, but again the next candle started, getting sold off, and there is a lower high which has been built. So that's where tomorrow's opening would be a little important. So we'll draw one trend line for connecting this two and see if Nifty starts breaking above this level. right? 18647 to 18661. No, I think I'll wait until, I mean, if I have to play directional on Nifty, then probably I'll wait until this higher high is closed, which is at 18,662. Once the candle starts closing above it and there is some strength and momentum seen, probably I'll think about a directional trade. Otherwise, non-directional delta neutral strategy is what I would look upon Nifty. All right. Let's do a quick CPR analysis for tomorrow and see how it looks like and what we can expect for tomorrow. So after the gap up, again, there has been an upward momentum today. So we have a higher value relationship, which means that we can expect the price to be moving higher. So we see the resistance again at 18,650 and 18,700. So these two are the key areas for us to be watchful on the upside. And on the downside, again, 550 and 500 could be the good support levels, right? So that's what has been holding very well today, as we could see in the charts. Um, okay, and the pivot width is narrow. No, not narrow. The pivot width is very normal. I don't think so. It is giving any indications in terms of the price momentum that could keep it moving forward. I think it would be moderately bullish, is what my anticipation is if it has to move forward. Let's get on to the option chain and try to understand what is the option chain suggesting us in terms of the levels. Where are the buyers and seller comfortable in the option chain? Right, so let's look at the total number of contracts on the call side. It's 12 lakh contracts on the call side, and again, the put has equal number of contracts here as well. If we look at the intraday positions, I think 274,000 on the puts and 29,000 on the calls. So this gives me an impression that there's a bullish bias in terms of the intraday behavior that happened today. Now, I'm sorry, I was looking at Bank Nifty. Let me come back. I'm sorry. Uh, so 16 lakh contracts on the call sides and 15 lakh contracts on the put side. So put is less by 1 lakh contracts. So there are 51,000 contracts that's been written today on the call side, and there has been an addition of 161,000 on the put sides, right? So puts are definitely heavy. Now let's look at the strike levels. Strike 18,600 has a good concentration of OI on the put side. There are totally 2,07,000 contracts, and then we have 76,000 contracts on the call side. And if you look at the total on the call side, there are 1,52,000 contracts on the call side. So 18,600 looks to be a decent support. Otherwise, 18,550 is also showing in, you know, 26,000 contracts, but I see an unwinding of 20,000 contracts on 18,550. So let's watch 18,700. So 18,700 looks to be a good resistance level with over 1,89,000 contracts. And intraday, there is not too much of writing that's happened on either sides. But overall contract seems to be high on 18,700, and then 18,600 sounds to be a good support. But surprisingly, what is a little alarming to me is I don't see any good OI concentration until 200 points, which is at 18,400. And then further, the highest OI is seen at 18,300. So I'm not very sure why this level hasn't been unwind it until now, and then move the contracts further. Probably this is something, red flag for me in Nifty at 18,300, not getting moved upwards until 18,400 at least, right? So otherwise we see a good concentration at 500 and 400, but for whatever reasons there is highest OI been seen at 18,300, right? Whereas on the upside you see it at 18,800. So weekly expiry, the safest strikes could be 18,800 and then 18,300, but I believe 18,400, 500 should be good levels for us to place triangles on the downside with the puts, and then 18,700 and 800 should be good to be played on the call side, right? So I probably, if I'm trading in Nifty for tomorrow, then I would be looking at this levels of 18,750 and 18,800, and then 18,300 and 18,350, right? So that would be my plan of action on Nifty. Let's go back to the price action and see how the Bank Nifty has shown the price action. Bank Nifty again a very consolidation range until 2 a.m. Sorry, 2 p.m. and then once 2 p.m. I mean, once after 2 p.m. we started moving in upwards, and then we also closed this at the same levels of R1 and previous day high. There is a positive momentum definitely in Bank Nifty, and Bank Nifty is looking stronger in comparison to Nifty to me. If I have to do something directional, then Bank Nifty could be an index which I would trade for tomorrow. Now let's look at the intraday time frames and try and understand what is. So Bank Nifty definitely has a good forward momentum. As we discussed yesterday, it would take an resistance, and the whole day it did a time correction at 44,500. So tomorrow, if there is a gap up, but above this 44,500, we can expect the levels of 44,800 and 45,000 in the next few days. Otherwise, if there is a gap down, then we have a very good support now at 44,200, which was held back a couple of times. If it opens as is, then I expect it to be consolidated within this range of 500 points of 44,500 and 44,000, right? So it should not get below that. And you see an EMA also being started to build up. But I mean, you could see a good strong EMA uh, on hourly chart building it up at 44,150 currently, but it may come up to 200 as we close tomorrow. Now let's get onto the intraday time frame and see how the intraday time frame looks like. Any supports and resistances. I think this 44,500 is a level which needs to be broken, and if it's broken, then you can start seeing the bullish momentum upwards. Otherwise, if it starts falling, then I think 44,100 is a very good support. And before that, 44,200 would be tested as well, right? So that's what looks like on the price action. Let's look at the pivot relationship and understand if there is any confirmation on the pivots on the lower time frames. Okay, so there is an higher value relationship. It's not overlapping, but it's very close, and the the pivot definitely looks to be with a bigger width here in comparison to Nifty. So I don't expect too much of a movement to come in Bank Nifty. So probably if we go upwards, we may see the resistance at 44,600, and if we start falling downwards, then we may see the resistance at 44,200. So I anticipate it to be played between the levels of 44,600 and 44,300 or 400, 300 or 200 for tomorrow, right? Not more than this. So let's quickly look on the option chain and see if there is a confirmation on the option contracts as well. So if you look at the total number of calls, it's 12 lakhs, and on the puts also it's 12 lakhs. I think that's one of the reasons where it could consolidate to a greater amount of time tomorrow, is what I believe. If you look at if you look at the intraday contracts, there are 29,000 contracts, and there are 2,74,000, which is 275,000 contracts and 29,000 contracts. So definitely there have been a lot of puts that's been written today. Now, if you look at the key level of 44,500, which is at the money strike, the at the money strike has 1,37,000 contracts on the puts and 2,42,000 contracts on the calls. But intraday writing has been heavy today on the put side. So this definitely is going to be a key level, and there is also a good amount of call contracts that's been written. So it should be a resistance here. Probably there could be a 50 points flare upside towards 44,600. Otherwise, that should be quickly push down below 44,500 if the price starts moving upwards, right? Unless there is a very strong momentum in terms of price, which I don't believe, or I mean, I'll differ from putting in that statement, because with such a low VIX, we have been able to see so many erratic moves in intraday trading, right? So which is getting very difficult for us as the intraday traders with the gamma shooting up for no reasons, right? All right, so 44,500 is a key level of resistance. There is also a good amount of support, so we'll have to keep watch on that. 44,300 again has a good amount of writing. So I see, if you ask me, I think 44,500 could be a good resistance level, and then 44,000 is a good support level. Uh, so if I have to play a triangle, maybe I'll pick up the strikes of 44,000 and 43,900. And then on the upside, I would be playing somewhere at 44,800 and 44,700. So I'll be playing delta neutral strategy for tomorrow. I'd not play a directional. My preference would be on Bank Nifty to pick up this 44,800 and 44,900 strikes, and then 43,700 and 43,800, right? So This should give me a good 0.5, 0.6% for tomorrow, and I should be happy with the 0.5%. So I don't want to risk too much. I just want to, have something decent being consistently made rather than focusing on making, 1% on a, day-on-day basis. That's getting a little challenging and leading to a good amount of losses with the wild moves that I'm getting to see nowadays, right? So I'll not do that. So that's a quick analysis. And if I have to summarize, so I mean, Nifty we would not trade because the option contracts aren't yet been built there. So we do not get a right view in terms of what the price action could be. Nifty definitely has, I mean, the premiums are much less in comparison to what I would expect in Nifty. So probably I'll still be watchful in terms of looking at the pivot width and the histogram for tomorrow, whichever has wider pivot, as we could see with Bank Nifty having a wider pivot at this point of time. So I would be more comfortable to pick up the instrument which has a wide pivot and may not show a significant movement in any one single direction. So I would be playing in a delta neutral strategy on that instrument, be it Nifty or Bank Nifty for tomorrow, right? And as I spoke, I'd be looking at the far OTM strikes to just make a 0.5% return on my capital for tomorrow. So no big aims or expectations for tomorrow to make big money. I'll be just satisfied with making consistent money on in the current market state. So that's all as my analysis and point of view for today. I hope you guys like this video and that would be helpful for you to make your own decisions. Thank you very much for hearing. I wish you all good luck. Cheers. Bye bye.